Hey, good evening. Let's talk to sports family. Welcome to our week 17 of the Pro Football Review Show. Myself and Dwayne are here, and we're going to get the festivities started off with our 1 o'clock games as usual. Let's see. Let's
I got
see.
you. Let's start. Hold on, folks. I'm bringing it up right now. It's acting crazy all of a sudden. As soon as the show started, I had it up, and as soon as the show started, of course, it happened. So while we're doing that, let's just spend a quick second on what I think it will be the biggest story of the day, being Antonio Brown. Um, I've been watching sports for a long time, and some crazy things have happened in sports. Malice at the Palace, that was a crazy thing. Um, the Miracle at the Meadowlands was something that was on the field that was crazy. The California Stanford game where the band was on the field
The,
with
the
my
fight
man.
the fight with Buddy Ryan.
Fight with Buddy Ryan punching Kevin Gilbride in the head. So there's been a lot of craziness that I've seen in my life, but I never thought I would see a player basically quit in the middle of the game, take his equipment off, strip, do jumping jacks in the end zone, get a police escort to Newark Airport. And so there's obviously something there with AB. I know a lot of people think, well, he'll get another opportunity. If you can't play with Tom Brady, who took you into his home, who worked with you very closely, if you could do that to this team, it's over.
I think that one of the problems that we have in our society is we like to compare. We like to compare situations. Some situations have nothing to do with each other, and you can't compare it. You can't compare AB to another player that may have went along and did some crazy stuff, and you can't compare his situation with other situations. Right now, up until this point, AB has never done something so detrimental to your team. You quit on your team. You basically did exactly what Vontae Davis did, but Vontae Davis didn't come back at halftime and didn't show his team up. What he did was clearly show his team up. So at the end of the day, he's all right. He's good in life, and he'll be able to move on and do what he need to do. But as far as playing football again, no team is going to take the chance. I know a bunch of guys love to say that the Cowboys would take a chance. If you know anything about the Cowboys, stop it. They're ran by Stephen and Will McClay. Stephen Jones and Will McClay run the team. The Cowboys would never pick up Antonio Brown. So
Ever.
let's stop with the extra stuff, the narrative, the media led narrative, the shenanigans that people say. The man clearly doesn't want to play football no more. And best of luck to him and whatever he chooses to do. He's been a very good player, damn near Hall of Fame player. So it's going to be interesting when his name does come up for the Hall of Fame. With that, we can get our show started properly.
Yeah, we can get started because I got a very interesting question for you. Um, when we're done with all the games, I got a very remind me to ask this question. All right, because we'll get started. All right. Bills 29, Falcons 15, in a snowy game up in Buffalo. Big win for the Bills. They needed it. They moved to 10-6. So that was a huge win for them today. Getting ready to get themselves ready for the playoffs. For seeding purposes, that's real big. Let's see real quick. I know we got one more game to go tonight. But right now, with that win, Buffalo stays ahead of New England for the AFC East. Buffalo's at the 4 spot right now. New England's at the 5 spot. So depending on what happens next week with both of those teams, um, it's going to be interesting. This last week is going to be interesting in the AFC. The NFC, 5 of the teams are already clinched, but there are 4 teams that have an opportunity to get the 6 and the 7 seed. So there are some things to play for next week. There really are. Um, it it kind of didn't work out for the NFL and it usually always does. But as you know, you finish the season playing against teams from your division. But unfortunately, the Bills are playing the Jets and the Patriots are playing the Dolphins. So you would have loved for it to be like a head up type thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with the NFC West, which is up for grabs next week. But the Rams are playing. Why am I drawing a blank?
The Niners.
Yes, Rams Niners. Cardinals are playing the Seahawks. You may have to give that lean to the Cardinals
Yeah.
because the 49ers have dominated Rams. But that's a story for another day. All right. So good win
So
by the
so
Bills.
so they kind of did luck into it. I know you said it would be perfect if the matches was going against each other, but they kind of did luck up to it because the 49ers traditionally play so hard against the Rams that the
Yes.
Rams know they got to buckle their chin strap and they got to
Yeah.
win that
So
game.
so those is those two key divisions that are still up for grabs. And anytime you can go into the last week of the season and you got division championships on the line, that's big. Um, the next game, Bears 29, Giants 3. Okay. Next
It's
game.
funny that game basically the Bears um, moved down a pick, I guess, because of the game.
Mm,
So the Giants own the Bears pick. So it's very interesting that they actually even made that trade. Now looking back at it, knowing what could be at stake towards the end of the year.
yeah. But not much time being wasted on the Giants. Another lost season. That's like 8 of their last 9 seasons where the only thing the Giant fans have to look forward to is rooting against the Cowboys. So they won today, not on the field, not with their team, but because the Cowboys won. Congratulations, Giant fans. All right. We're going to save the game of the day in the 1 o'clock hour for last in the 1 o'clock hour. Um, Titans 34-3 over the
Quietly,
Dolphins.
quietly, Mike Vrabel has done it again.
Yes, he has.
Quietly, he's gotten. They were a playoff team the year before he took over the team, but he's kept them consistently in the playoffs, and now they basically have the number one seed, because they hold the tiebreaker over the Chiefs,
Yep.
which is
So they got a
remarkable
chance.
because his
Huge.
running back I think is still top three in the league in rushing and been
And
gone for 5 weeks.
yeah, more than 5.
Yeah,
And guess what else about his running back?
he'll be
He
back.
may be back for the playoffs.
Yeah,
So big win because of other things happening. They moved to the number 1 seed, which is huge. Uh, Another big win for the Las Vegas Raiders on the road, 23-20 over the Colts, in a game that the Colts absolutely needed. Carson Wentz came back, so they can't use that as an excuse. Big win by the Raiders to keep their playoff hopes alive.
it doesn't
The
have to be
AFC is
ugly.
still
It doesn't have to be
AFC
ugly.
is still up for grabs.
It doesn't have to be cute. It's a win. And that's what David Carr said at the end of the game. Derek Carr said at the end of the game. He said, basically, we know it was an ugly game. It was a muddle scuttle. We just got to win. And that's the priority in getting down to these dog days. Because if you look at the narrative of today's games, it was some tough games.
Yes.
A lot of
And
the teams that quote unquote is out of it haven't packed up and said we're going on vacation in a couple weeks.
if you look at it in the AFC now, the top 5 is set. Tennessee, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and New England. But for those last 2 spots, remember, folks, it's 7 teams getting the playoffs in each conference now. Top seed gets a first round bye. So these are the teams that are still in the hunt going into last week. Indy at 9-7, Los Angeles Chargers at 9-7, Las Vegas at 9-7, Baltimore, believe it or not, still alive at 8-8. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-1 is still
Mike
alive.
Tomlin.
If they win tonight, Mike Tomlin guarantees himself another season of not being under 500. It's
Unbelievable.
amazing if they win tonight. He clinches another season of being 500 or better. It's amazing. Okay? Really is. So it's exciting, man. This last week's going to be very exciting. Um, Patriots 50, Jaguars 10. Enough said.
What'd you say the score
Um,
was?
50 to 10. They put a 50 burger on them. A real gutsy win for the Philadelphia Eagles. Going into Washington and beating the football team 20
Division
to
game on the
16
division game on the road is never easy.
sets up a huge matchup against the Cowboys next week. Philly needs to win to secure themselves a spot in the playoffs. For the Cowboys, it doesn't mean anything because they're locked into the 4th seed now. They're locked into a first round home game. The only thing that's going to happen with the Cowboys is depends on who they're going to play. They're either going to play the Cardinals or the Rams. Whoever doesn't win the AFC West will be the matchup. So next week for Dallas doesn't mean anything but pride and to go undefeated in the NFC East. But nice job by the Eagles. Hey, give Nick Sirianni a hell of a lot of credit
He
if he
changed his
gets this
playbook.
team to
He
the
changed his whole playbook during the middle of the season to do a lot more RPOs and run the ball and use his strength.
they run
Even
the
even
ball.
even you said like why they don't run Miles Sanders during the middle of the year, and then they just changed and started running him and doing a lot of RPOs, making the game easier for Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts. And that's what, if you look at coaching, that's what a young coach is supposed to do. You're supposed to adjust your play calling towards your players.
yeah. Um, we said it earlier. You win in this league. It's not about if it's pretty or not. You win and you move on. Huge win by the Rams. Even though Matthew Stafford tried to give this game away. Huge win by the Rams. They win 2019 over Baltimore. Baltimore, give John Harbaugh credit. They haven't had Lamar Jackson for weeks, and they stay in games and they stay in games and they fight, and they still have a chance to make the playoffs next week. So that was a good 1 o'clock game. Now the two best 1 o'clock games. Listen, man, I am really starting to become the old man on my lawn. The New York Jets were up 24-20 late in this game, and they went for it on 4th and 2 instead of kicking the field goal, chip shot field goal, to go up a touchdown. Not only did they go for it on 4th and 2, they tried to run quarterback sneak from 2 yards out after they were gashing them in a running game with running backs. So not only do you do the controversial thing for going for it instead of going up a touchdown, and the worst you could do is go to overtime, you go for it, you do a quarterback sneak, and you give Tom Brady the ball down 24-20, and he promptly goes down the field, scores, and gets a 2-point conversion. Analytics have ruined the game of baseball that I love, and I'm sure hoping analytics doesn't ruin the game of football that I love. Okay? Buccaneers 28, Jets 24. You know, I
That game, I noticed that a lot of people have been saying Tom does it again, Tom does it again. But sometimes, like you said, the opposing coaches puts their defense in very bad situations. But the story of that game, at the end of the day, even from the media standpoint, should be about AB leaving his uniform off at the middle of the game. Some
yeah,
teams, for some reason, with media and narrative, they never seem to want to criticize or talk about what's important. They push the narrative off on the fans. The game got marred when AB left the game. I mean, it went down to, because no way in heck the Bucks should be fighting against a team like the Jets. But as you see, it's hard to win the NFL on the road. Definitely during the end of the year, a lot of teams nicked up. It's going to be interesting with the Bucks going forward from a receiver standpoint. They down AB. AB's not no longer on the team, and they down Goodwin. So Now you may have to see the Bucks morph into more of a running team.
Yeah.
But the game in the 1 o'clock window was Cincinnati Bengals beating the Kansas City Chiefs 34-31.
Yeah.
Very,
And
very, very good game, Dwayne.
it was, but again, it again, it worked out. But what the hell is Zach Taylor doing in the end
Yeah.
game? You're going for it on fourth down in a tie game in your own territory.
No, it's not. It's not a wrap for the Bucks. Believe it or not, the Bucks. Think about what the Bucks did last year, Roy. The the offense struggled in the playoffs last year, and their defense just turned it up, and they started getting turnovers. It's interesting with these teams because the Buck. Let's just use the Bucks in Kansas City. They got to the Super Bowl unconventionally to how they played all year last year, and you starting to see that ship out again, where you seeing certain teams get hot. The team we talking about now, the Bengals, their coach made a major mistake today. But the Bengals offensively, they can line up with the best of them. Can they make a defensive stop at then? And that's going to come down to it. You can't the Bengals and I don't want to drift off too much from our show, but
No,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
just say, can't no defense in the NFL line up with the Bengals and the Bills. Head up. You need some stuff to be able to slow them teams down,
Listen,
y'all.
let me tell you something, man. Everybody talks about Jamar Chase, right? He's amazing. He's amazing. He really is amazing. But you got Boyd, you got Higgins, you got Mixon in the backfield, you got Burrow. Um, it's right at the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the tight end's name, but he's
Tyler?
man.
Tyler still
Huh?
there? Tyler ain't
Is
there
it
no more,
Tyler
right?
Effort?
Yeah, he's
Tyler
still
Effort?
there.
I
Yeah,
think
the
it
boy
may
from Notre
be.
Dame.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm not on it right there. But they got a high powered offense, man. They
And
got a
then when
high.
you
Hey, listen, man. Here's what you love about the NFL, right? You got a week to go, and tell me who's the clear cut favorite to win this whole thing.
most
Now, most
people,
people are gonna say the Packers, which I
Tyrone,
get it,
Tyrone,
because no, most people will say the Packers because they'll get the number one seed and they'll be at Lambeau. Okay, but a team went into Lambeau last year and won. Like this thing is wide open, man. Like
and then we seen the Bengals,
it's
Dwayne, me
wide
and
open,
you
man.
saw the Bengals lose to the Packers because Crosby couldn't make a kick, and the other kicker couldn't make a kick, and they beat him in overtime.
I
It's going to be
feel
interesting.
I feel that we all as football fans, there's gonna be a game in the playoffs where one of these coaches is gonna go for it on fourth down, and the whole world is
Just
gonna go
just don't break your
crazy.
just I just say whatever device you watch your games on, don't break your TV if it's yours because every coach that I've seen this year,
It's
except and I know
crazy.
people may get mad because I'm saying it, Bill Belichick is the only one I have not seen make a scratch your head decision out of these coaches. Every coach this year has done a decision where I'm like, going for it on fourth down within your side of the field in the first half is hideous. That's hideous. Then you got these guys, these punt returners, not planting themselves at the 10-yard line. They're actually calling fair catches at the 5.
Hmm?
I've never seen nothing like this. Never, never seen nothing like this. So just don't be surprised if it's your team do some dumb stuff. And you be like, huh? Who taught them how to play football? But the game has
It's
changed.
crazy, man. The
It's not
game has
yesterday's
changed.
football. Most of these guys are 7-on-7 players, and they just don't know.
Yeah, the
They
game
don't
has
know.
changed, man.
These
The game has
coaches,
changed.
you
Listen,
saw it this week. These coaches, rest easy to John Madden, but these coaches
Dan Reeves
coach
too.
like they're playing Madden. They don't
They
coach like
do.
they're playing real football.
Listen, man. I was looking at that Bengals Chiefs game, and I was on the phone with you and Brother Walker, and I was like, what the hell is Zach Taylor doing? Like, what
Zach
is he
Taylor,
doing?
Zach Taylor, folks had 1st and 2 from the 5 yard line with a minute left, and he coached the game. He got the first down.
On a
Then he
penalty,
just on a penalty. Then he was gonna. Then he went for it on fourth down. Got a first down on another penalty. Why was he going for it on fourth down with less than a minute? I don't know. Just kicked the field goal. The
kick
Chiefs had
the
no more
field goal.
timeouts. The Chiefs had no
Hell,
more
listen,
timeouts.
I know it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side, but you were less than a minute to go in that game.
And he was at home, folks.
Kick the field goal. Jeez.
4 o'clock games, brother.
Chargers 34, Broncos 13. Big win for the Chargers. They needed it. With
They
the
still in
playoffs coming
contention.
up. Still in contention, man. We're gonna go over the playoff picture before we hang up.
Broncos. I just want people to know Broncos got the number one defense in the NFL, folks. So just know that going into these playoffs, it's going to be some real high scoring games and some interesting games.
Listen, it's gonna be interesting for sure. Hey, man, shout out to Trey Lance. He gets the start. I know it was the Houston Texans before everybody said, oh, it was the Texans. He did his job, threw 2 touchdowns, and they won the game 23-7. Big game. They needed it. Big game. The Panthers lose to the Saints 18-10. Big game for the Saints. Keeps them alive. They're alive. Okay?
Matter of fact, scratch it. The Saints got the number one defense in the league. I thought it was Denver.
Yes.
It is the Saints with the number one defense in the league.
And then I don't know when the last time we've had this in the NFL in the same week. We had 250 burgers put up this week. So you got the Seahawks 51, the Lions 29. And that's what it is, man. You know, for me, I got a motto that I've been following for a long time, you know. And we got a lot of stuff going on in this world. You know, a lot of people dealing with different things. COVID is running wild. Hey, man, these sports, man, it's entertainment. You don't take it too seriously. We sit here and we want to throw tablets and get in discussions with people on social media. And at the end of the game, them niggas is, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. At the end of the game, these jokers is
They talking about where we going out to dinner tonight. How long y'all gonna be in town?
Like
if y'all charter, got to stay over. If y'all charter, got to stay over. Come through.
Here's the thing. Playoffs are gonna be fun. Hey man,
we got one more game, Dwayne, the 425 game.
I know. The playoffs is gonna be fun. Man, let's enjoy it, man. Let's stay safe. Let's do what we got to do, man. I'm not going to beat everybody over the head. Whatever you decide to do to keep yourself safe, I say do it. I want to see people, man. I want to see people healthy. And then we go to that 425 game, and the Arizona Cardinals, they break that little loser streak they were on. They beat the Cowboys' little 4-game winning streak. Cardinals win 25-22. I give credit to the Arizona Cardinals. They won the game. They were more physical. They out-schemed the Cowboys. Cowboys had a lot of penalties. They were very slow to get started on offense. But as a Dallas Cowboy fan, my biggest concern with the Dallas Cowboys is their kicker, because he continually misses kicks every week. You're right. You're right. These jokers be like, listen, I thought, I'm going to be honest, when the Cowboys played the Giants, and at the end of the game, Jalen Smith was over there doing the shift that the Cowboys do, and he played for the Giants, that told me right there, I'm not losing my life over these games. When these guys, I'm never going to say they don't care, because I want Quentin to give me time tonight, because there's 2 things I really want to address when we're done breaking down these games in the playoffs. Q, we got time tonight?
Oh, yeah, we good.
Okay. So, Cardinals win. It's a big win for the Cardinals. Now they're live for the NFC West Championship. For Dallas, Dallas is locked into the 4 seed now. So they will get a home game, but they will play against whoever doesn't win the NFC West. So they're looking at a rematch with the Cardinals in 2 weeks, where let's give Kyler Murray credit. It's a weird stat, but the young man is 8-0 at AT&T Stadium through his high school career, his college career, and now he's won 2 starts at AT&T Stadium. Here's the thing about the Dallas Cowboys. You either love them or you hate them. Understand they'll probably be the primetime game that ABC picks for Saturday night. As a Cowboy
Just so
fan,
just so the Eagles could get on prime time, folks.
right. As a Cowboy fan, I think they're overexposed. I think they lead every show every week. I think it's a ratings bonanza. But this team got to prove that when the game is on the line, they can get it done. I love
It's
Dak
it's
Prescott. He got
back
to
to
prove that when the game is on the line, he can get it done. You
back to
know?
your last point. Your last point you just made is that doing what we do in a situation where we're basically media having a show. It's almost crazy when you understand that people are about viewership. Shows are about viewership. So if you know you could talk about a specific team or a specific subject, and more people will watch instead of talking about what's relevant. Definitely with sports, it makes you wonder. Now, as a Cowboy fan, me and you both Cowboy fans, we actually talk during the games. The Cowboys are literally Jekyll and Hyde. They are a team that, if you look at their skill position players on offense and defense, they're scary good, where they could make a run and win the Super Bowl. But they're the same type of team that, if it was more games left, you could see themselves not going to the playoffs. uh,
Absolutely.
because it's like, who you gonna get this week? And I think that's what this group of Cowboy players need to get past is, if you want to win, you want to be considered a good team, you got to earn that right. Nobody gonna give you that right.
Listen,
Far as today's game, it just seemed like they were stuck in mud. The
mm,
Cowboys. It seemed like Arizona. Clearly, I'm not a big Cliff Kingsbury fan, but the Cowboys were out coached today. This was a
and
coaching. The Cowboys did not have an answer, and it's not like Arizona did a lot of big things, but Arizona did the right things at the right time, opposed to what the Cowboys played. The Cowboys
but
rushed. Arizona knew to a draw. It's like they were in their heads. Go
but
ahead.
here's the thing: when I say the Cowboys are over analyzed, overhyped, yes, we all know Mike McCarthy has a time management problem, right? Um, we all know that. So the first thing they said when the Cowboys had no more timeouts and couldn't challenge that fumble, oh, Mike McCarthy is terrible. Another time where it was poor management. Come on, y'all. He had to call the first time out in the second half because he had his field goal unit on. Then the Cardinals looked like they were going to go for 2. So he had to call timeout because that was a big 2-point conversion, right? The second and third timeouts were good timeouts because you were up against the clock. Problem is, they didn't get off the field, you know? Um, Here's the thing about the NFL. You can have all the individual talent in the world. And if you look at the Cowboys roster, they got a lot of talent. But you don't win this game with talent alone. I know Jimmy Johnson has the famous quote, it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmy and Joes. To a point, man. Because you still got to come
Because
together as a
I'm
team.
gonna ask you, Dwayne. We're Cowboy fans, and this is the conversation that me and you will have privately, but we'll talk publicly, right? We'll talk about
Sure,
something how we talk privately. You
sure.
say you say that about the Cowboys, and I'll come up with the excuse and say, "Do you see how young they are on defense? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's always the thing. It's like, you see how young they are on defense. Is that an excuse, or is it a fact, or can we say no? You got to win now.
Listen,
It's just like the Chiefs. You would think the Chiefs. I'm not making the Cowboys the Chiefs. You would think the Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls. The Chiefs only
yeah,
won 1 Super Bowl.
yeah.
but
Yeah.
everybody looks at them like they're a dynasty team.
Hey, listen, man, we've been watching this game for a long time, man. Um, Here's what I'm praying, and I'm real serious when I say this, man. I'm praying that COVID does not rear its ugly head during these playoffs, and we lose a key player to COVID protocol in these playoff games. Can you imagine a quarterback and conference champion week? You know how fast the NFL is going to get them out of protocol. You let Tom Brady or Patrick
I
Mahomes
think they did
or
that
one
with
of them
Carson
come up
Wentz.
with
I
COVID.
think they did that with Carson Wentz this
They
week.
did it with Carson Wentz. He's unvaxxed too. They changed the unvaxxed rules. Now again, vax, unvaxxed, I'm not debating that with anybody. You understand? Everybody got to make the decision that's for them and their family. Damn that. Politics aside, I'm not going to tell you to not do it. I'm not going to tell you to do it. It's none of my business, right? But you see, they're changing these protocols because they're scared that these playoffs are going to get wrecked. Okay? Now, back to the Dallas Cowboys. You can have all the talent in the world, but you got to put it together. This team could go on a run, or this team could lose in the first round. I've watched every Dallas Cowboy game in my life since I was 8 years old. But see, here's the thing about that, right? Everybody want to use history when it's convenient for them. Okay? Fact of the matter is, Dallas Cowboys have not won a Super Bowl since the mid 90s. All right? But in between that time, this team ain't played the games. It's about 2021, 2022. So they got to decide what they want to do. They're an 11-win team. Everybody will say, well, 5 of those 11 wins are in your division. You got to play who you got to play. And Dak dominates the NFC East. He does. He's 24-6 against the NFC East. That's not his fault. This man is 9-1 against the Giants, 9-1 against the Washington football team. He's 5-3 against the Eagles. I mean, whose fault is it?
Just
Not his fault.
one point in the Cardinals I noticed today. I know that they said that he had some surgery done. DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
For the Cardinals fans, what bothered me today, from a Cardinals perspective, is DeAndre Hopkins was in. Uh, he had crutches today. DeAndre Hopkins, their playoffs could potentially start in 2 weeks. They don't get no bye. It's going to start in 2 weeks. They don't get no bye. So
Yeah.
the chances of seeing DeAndre Hopkins in 2 weeks and knowing he was on crutches today, I don't know. And when you got leg problems as a receiver, it's pretty big. So that's something we need to look at because they definitely need DeAndre Hopkins back. Other than that, like Dwayne said, the Cowboys, very interesting game. They'll do what they do. And
Sorry, I don't
now
know
they
if you
got them.
could see me.
Yeah, you good. Now they need to do what they gotta do and win. I mean, you're gonna earn your right to win the championship. No championships is given from the glitter, gloss, and floss. The letter networks are not gonna give you a championship. You gotta earn it. Dwayne just dropped, so hopefully he'll be back shortly. But like I said, you gotta earn championship. You gotta earn the right to win. You don't just get wins given because you're the most biggest franchise in the league and all this other stuff. You got to earn the right to win. So going forward, we'll see what happens. I know Dwayne got some other stuff he wants to discuss in regards to what he noticed this week. There he
Sorry.
goes.
Um, Blame Brother Walker for calling me during the middle of a show. He know better than that. All right. So Cowboys lose, and it don't get it twisted. You hearing this from a Cowboy lifer. It was a bad loss. And this team got to figure the hell out what they want to be. Okay? Either you're going to be contenders or you're going to be pretenders. But they better find a key word in life: consistency. Because they're not consistent. Okay? Now, do you want me to address let's do the playoffs right now. Now we do have a big game tonight. Browns and Steelers. The Steelers get a win. They still in it, man. And, and really, the Browns still have an outside. It's a big game tonight. That's probably kicked off already. No, I'm sorry. They play tomorrow. Tonight is the Packers. Packers and the Vikings. And the Packers could damn sure sew up home field advantage throughout and a bye with a win tonight. Okay? So now let's look at the playoffs, right? Here's what we got going into the last week. An American Football Conference. Right now, the Tennessee Titans are the number one seed. They're the AFC South champion. Kansas City Chiefs are the number 2 seed. They're the AFC West champion. The Cincinnati Bengals are the number 3 seed. They're the AFC North champions. Right now, Buffalo at 10-6 is the 4 seed. New England is 10-6 as the 5 seed. They're both going for the AFC Championship next week, but they're both clinched. So basically, it's going to come down to seeding. Whoever wins it will get the home game in the playoffs. But they're playing each other, folks. First round, the 2 teams that win the AFC Championships. So right now, the Indianapolis Colts are the 6th seed. If the playoffs started today, they would be playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, due to tiebreakers, the Los Angeles Chargers are the 7th seed. And if the playoffs started today, they would be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. The Raiders still have a shot at 9-7. Pittsburgh still has a shot at 7-7-1, depending on what they do tomorrow night. And Baltimore still has an outside shot at 8-8. For your NFC, the Green Bay Packers are the 1 seed right now, and they're the NFC North champions. The Los Angeles Rams is the 2 seed right now, but they're not division champions yet. Arizona's still alive for that if they win. Tampa Bay is the South champion at 12-4. They're the 3 seed. Dallas Cowboys are the NFC East champion. They're the 4 seed at 11-5. The Cardinals has clinched the playoff spot. They're the 5 seed at 11-5. You got San Francisco at 9-7 in the 6 hole. The Philadelphia Eagles at 9-7 in the 7 hole. But you got New Orleans at 8-8. Minnesota, depending on what happens tonight with the Packers. Those are the 3 teams. There's 4 teams for 2 spots. Everyone else in the NFC has been eliminated. So for those last 2 spots, you got San Francisco, Philly, New Orleans, and Minnesota. If Minnesota loses tonight, they drop out of the conversation, and then you will have 2 teams for 3 spots going into the last week. If the playoffs started today, Green Bay would get the bye. The Rams would play the Eagles. The Bucks would play the 49ers. And Dallas will host Arizona again. So that's where we are. Any other thoughts on the NFL before I dive into college football?
No.
Okay. Everyone knows that I love the University of Michigan. We got our bubble busted, our tail busted, everything you could think of. I may be the biggest Desmond Howard fan on the planet. Okay? I am utterly disappointed in Desmond Howard and in Kirk Herbstreit, both of ABC, ESPN. For them to go on the airwaves and say that players don't have a love for the game because they're opting out of bowl games, bullcrap. Everyone has to make the decision that's best for them. Everyone has to make the decision that's best for their family. Okay? If those kids decided to opt out of bowl games, it's their business.
Let me ask you a
But who
question,
the hell
Dwayne.
is you? Who the hell is you to say the kids nowadays don't have no love for football when all they do since they're young is go to all these damn camps, all these 7-on-7 tournaments? They work. They work. Blood,
Let me
sweat,
ask you a question,
chicken
Dwayne.
since they're young. And you gonna
Dwayne,
say They don't have the love for the game because they opt out of a bowl game? Heck
Let
out
me
of
let
here,
me let
man.
me ask you a question, Dwayne. Do you think that Desmond Howard and Kurt Herbstreit, as we like to say, don't know the rum? Like all of these kids, literally everybody knows the Jalen Smith story. And the Jalen Smith story is not even at first when it happened, it was okay, he just hurt his draft status. Not realizing, no, he almost lost his leg. Then on top of his comeback, Jalen Smith was projecting to go to the Hall of Fame. Because he played in that game and got hurt, literally Jalen Smith might not be in the league next year.
Here's the thing
Are
that
they
kills,
saying it's not realizing these kids notice?
but here's the thing about it, right? They talk about these players, but they don't say nothing about Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame when they were playing in the New Year's Six Bowl to get a job. Nobody said nothing about that. Nobody says anything about these coaches. Willis McGahee, another one. Last night, the Ole Miss quarterback, Matt Corral, who may be the first pick in the draft, not first pick, but first quarterback in the draft, played in the game for Ole Miss, got carted off. Luckily, it's an ankle and not an Achilles or a knee. Because if it was an Achilles or a knee, it would have cost him millions of dollars.
And then you see guys in the NFL playing on the last year of their contracts and they getting hurt as
Hey,
well.
prayers to Michael Gallup, who is a free agent for the Dallas Cowboys, and he tore his ACL tonight. Who's going to sign him? He's a free agent. Now he's going to have to take like a 1 year prove it deal with the Cowboys. That could have cost him millions and millions of dollars, but it's a little bit different with professionals because you're getting paid. And I know people say, oh, you don't think college players are getting paid? They may be. But then you got Kurt Herbstreit backpedaling because when everybody put fire to that behind for that asinine statement. Listen, do I like to see all the kids opting out when you make a 14 playoff?
Excuse
When
me.
you make a 14 playoffs, you basically make the other bowl games irrelevant.
Insignificant.
So it's not
Except
worth the
except to
risk.
one entity.
Yeah,
The universities are making money.
exactly. Off the back of these players that this guy's going to say they don't love the game. How you going to say they don't love the game? They worked just as hard as you did to get to where you was at. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So that's my biggest problem with it, man. Like, these are all personal decisions. We all make personal decisions in our lives every day. Now, even when you go on social media, right? You can make comments, you can say what you want to say, and people are going to say what they're going to say. Like, for me, the older I get, the less I worry about it, you know, because if it's too much for me, I'm deleting, I'm blocking, because life is too short, man. I'm not losing my mind over this. The Cowboy game ended. I got 5 inbox from Giant fans, and all I could do is laugh because that's all you have with your football team for the last 7 years is to root against the Cowboys, which is good. We're fans. It's like for us being in Voss Hall, it's like being down to school all over again. You got to be able to take the good with the bad, but don't run and hide. I'm not running and hide. Hell, I'm a fan of the Knicks, the Mets, the Cowboys. Hell, the Knicks have never won one since I've been on the planet. I ain't going nowhere. I'm a Knicks fan. The Mets haven't won since '86. I ain't going nowhere. I'm a Mets fan. The Cowboys haven't won since the '95 football season, '96 February Super Bowl. I'm not going anywhere. Okay? It's what it is. It's entertainment. It's fun. Let's keep it fun. Stop taking it so serious, man. Like, hell yeah. Am I mad the Cowboys lost today? Yeah. I don't like the effort. I don't like how they came into the game. I don't like how Dak Prescott played. He's my favorite quarterback. Dak's my quarterback. But all that said and done, that's on them. That ain't on me. It's enjoyment. But when you talking about these college kids, and yeah, they got the name, image, and likeness deals now. It's about damn time. It's about damn time. Because these universities been selling jerseys and everything else in bookstores, and these guys couldn't even get a real meal plan until about 5 years ago. You understand, before 5 years ago, they limited the amount of times these college athletes could eat. Now they got unlimited meal plan. They should. The University of Michigan, which I love, their football team. Everybody know it since I'm 7 years old. They play in the big house on home games. That's 115,000 folks, and them tickets ain't cheap. And it's concessions, and it's all the things that go in there. They are making money hand over fist. Every Big Ten team gets $14 million from the Big Ten network. And then y'all say, oh, well, at least they're getting a free education. It's not enough, man. They patching these kids up on surgeries to get them back on the field. And listen, I understand the people that say, well, I don't cry for these kids. This is what they decided to do. It's part of the game. Well, damn it. If they choose to opt out of a bowl game, that's part of the game too. But don't question their love for the game. Don't question their passion. Don't question their dedication, because they're in there doing it and working out all year round for this opportunity.
With that, it's no more left to be said. It's no way that college sports, what it, amateurism. The word amateurism is a joke. Um, we've known it for years, and at the end of the day, the student athlete, or whatever we want to call them, we got to understand that they got to make the best decision that they need to do for themselves. They're grown people. At 18 years old, they can go to war and fight for this country, so they should be able to make decisions without anybody criticizing their decisions. Great
And
show,
then when
Dwayne.
and then when it's players, when it's a Desmond Howard, when it's a Kurt Herbstreit, if it's just some guy typing on his computer and on the letter networks, on these debate shows giving their opinions, I can get that. But when it's Desmond Howard and Kurt Herbstreit, who knows what these kids go through, for you to sit there on national TV and say you question if these kids have a love for the game, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. And now Kirk Herbstreit, I don't know if you noticed, he went on Twitter last night and he was like, "No, I don't. I want to clarify my comments. I'm not saying all players. I'm just saying some players.
It
You
doesn't
shouldn't
matter.
say any."
It doesn't matter who it is. Somebody, just, no matter if you say to me, "Well, you're going to be a projected late round, first round pick," how am I any different than the guy that's going to be a surefire first pick? Doesn't matter. You got to make the best decision for yourself and your family. At the end of the day, the university been sucking the bone marrow out of y'all for the last 2 3 years, making money. So now that these players are thinking ahead of themselves as businessmen because they are grown, they can vote. Some states they could buy liquor, they can fight. There are wars. These are young grown men. They're making the best. And if the decision comes back and bites them in the butt, they got to live with that. Shouldn't somebody that benefits, a commentator who benefits by these letter networks, be able to say anything? Because at the end of the day, they're working for someone. They're working for a boss that clearly makes money off of these kids' participation in these bowls and pay taxes. With that, great show, Wayne. Till next week, we'll join you guys for
Hey,
week.
it's
The
big,
funny, the
big,
first time ever,
big.
the first time ever I could say this, week 18
Week
in the
18. But
NFL.
no, no, before you sign off, tell them the significance of next week from a broadcasting standpoint.
Oh, the NFL is no games are set until tonight.
And what
Far
else?
as times, and
No.
networks.
What about Saturday?
Saturday, I think it's 4 games, 3 games flexed into Saturday.
It's a double header. ABC has the choice of what games they're going to put up there. No one knows where they're going next week.
Nobody knows.
Trey
So
Aikman even said it during the telecast. They have no idea where they're going next week.
so everything will be set by tomorrow morning. What tonight? They'll do it tonight, and you'll know. So if you got tickets for any of these games, the day may change on you. With that, everybody have a blessed night. Stay safe.
Cowboys, get it together, jerks.